Hi, I'm Danielle, and this is Chatter Out Loud, a podcast where I share thoughts and TV commentary on shows I like to watch. Now, before I start, I want to ask that you go ahead and like, follow, share, and subscribe. And on YouTube, where I upload my companion episode of my podcast, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This way you can get a notification every time I post a new episode and you won't miss out. All right, so welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Your presence is very much appreciated. So let's chat a little bit about what we're seeing on the live feeds for BBCAN10, Big Brother Canada Season 10. All right, so we finally have a shift in power. I wrote that in my notes early on with the hope that someone other than Gino or Marty would win the HOH. Truthfully, I was hoping for a Summer or a Betty HOH, but that didn't happen. And maybe that may not be so bad because next week is a triple eviction. So they'll at least have another opportunity to potentially survive the triple. But more importantly, Flip-Flopper Marty won't be able to play in the next HOH. So it's even more of an opportunity to get him out. You guys, Marty has a strong chance at winning this game. I cringe and I chuckle. It's a nervous laughter as I say this out loud because, it just is what it is. Have any of you already come to that conclusion? It pains me. But we only have a couple of more weeks, right? So I think May 5th, I believe, is the finale night, right? And now we have this next week is a triple eviction. And so based on who's left and people I can get behind to root for, it's not that many. I'm just saying. Marty, it just looks good for Marty and I don't like it. And the fact that we've heard both Herman and Moose, who are now jury members, mention Marty as the potential person to win, I just don't like it. If you've listened to me before or more than one live feed updates, you know I have a soft spot for Summer. But Summer has been challenged when it comes to winning comps. She claims, she's throwing it. I don't know. I take her word for it, I guess. And if I'm honest with myself, I'm not sure how much I can continue to use her strong social game as a strength in the game, right? I tried hard. But girl, sis has to win an HOH. I feel she has it in her. I really would like to see it before the season is over. We love Summer, both the time of year and the personality on Big Brother Canada Season 10. Yeah. All right, Betty is funny, including her infectious laugh. If you didn't hear, was it my last episode or the one before, I played audio of Betty's laughter. I don't have it in front of me now, so otherwise I would play it for you. But she's funny. I love her reads. She has to be able to win something for her to stay in the game, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I wouldn't be mad at a Betty win of this season, right? There would have to be a lot of serious gameplay from her and a heck of a speech to convince that jury, I think. But I wouldn't be mad at a Betty win. I wouldn't like to see Marty win, but I wouldn't be mad at a Betty win. Josh, I'm over Josh. I'm over Dr. Josh. Sorry. And on this Easter Sunday, I don't want to get too ugly with how disappointed I am with Josh's gameplay. I'm surprised and disappointed. But he survived this long in the game, so I guess something's working. Miss JC Lynn and her showmance Gino, they can go. They can both go, and I wouldn't be mad at them getting so close to the end only to be chopped. Yep, I said it. All right, Helena. I wouldn't necessarily like Helena to win, but I wouldn't be too mad. And that depends on who she'd beat up against, who she would beat up against in the end. If it were against say like JC Lynn, I'd be happy to see a Helena win over JC Lynn. But if it were against like Summer, I'd rather see Summer win over Helena. Yeah. Kevin. I wouldn't be mad at a Kevin win. He has played this game. There's no denying it. And for him to not have won an HOH and have a lot of influence over the past HOHs over the past few weeks, I say Kevin would have earned a win, right? And I think he'd be able to put that in a speech in the end to convince jury members. So, yeah, I wouldn't be mad at a Kevin win. All right, so let's get into a few things on the live feeds. Well, we know that Moose was evicted unanimously under Gino's HOH. That wasn't Gino's plan going in, but when Helena won that last power of veto, he changed his plan. Not only that, Gino's showmance, JC Lynn, decided against using that secret power of veto she won. And I said it then, and I'm going to say it again. I think that was a mistake for her own personal game. I think it was. That's the first thing. And then again, the showmance, it's clouding her judgment. It's just clouding her gameplay towards the final weeks of this game, in my opinion. And her not using that secret power of veto. And I'm not saying that just because I like, Summer and Betty, and I didn't want to see either of them. I didn't want to see Summer go. But it would have been a smarter move for them to backdoor Marty and get him out. I'm just saying. So Moose is gone to jury, and we have a new HOH, in the last episode that aired, a new HOH competition kicked off at the end of that Thursday night's episode. It was called Mount HOH, where they had to hold on to icicle pegs and press their body against the side of their chutes, right? They had to hang on, and they poured water on them, or shot water on them, I think, and other elements of course, to make it hard for them to hold on, right? And we've seen that in these type of endurance competitions in the past. When the episode ended, we saw how much Kevin struggled to hold on and position his body in the chute. So I wonder if he was like the first one to drop in the comp. The comp looked pretty cool to me. It was endurance, and based on the theme, we'd assume that the water and the elements would create a very cold atmosphere. Anyway, guess who won? Flip-flopper Marty. Yep, he won that competition. We knew that he'd target Betty and Josh, and he did, as they are the new nominees this week. And quickly moving on to the Power Veto competition, the veto players were Betty, Josh, Summer, Kevin, and Gino. I didn't watch enough of the feeds to know what the comp entailed. I just picked up on that it was an individual play and a timed event. That's what I assessed based on what I heard. So I'm surprised at who won the power veto. And it's so funny because a couple of episodes ago I talked about predictability, and for the most part it is, because we see the same people winning. Gino, Marty, like it's switching back and forth. But this I was surprised about. Betty won the power of veto. We were all shocked, right? Those of us that watched the live feeds, weren't we shocked? It was like after 1:00 in the morning, the feeds come back. We're all anxiously awaiting who won. Boy, I said, oh, wow, Betty won. And good for Betty. She pulled the win. She has something to add to her resume in the end of season speech, should she make it to the end. I can't wait to see that win, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's episode. Well, no, that will show us the power of veto. But Wednesday night episode will show the power of veto. Wait, what did I just say? Monday night shows the HOH comp win. And then next Wednesday will show the power of veto. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so Marty is the new HOH. He nominated Betty and Josh. Betty won the power of veto. And now the game quickly is heading into who should be the replacement nominee. Because we know for sure Betty is using that veto on herself. That's one thing we know for sure. Oh yeah, and fans band together to vote for Summer to win safety this week. So not only does this confirm my thoughts on how much Summer is like, yep, and no need to add me, these are facts, the facts, as Derek F says from BB23. These are the facts. I'm just laying out facts. So we know this affects the other house guests. Anytime Canada or America or anything, anytime a house guest is saved by the country, America, Canada, we know it affects the other house guests because they begin to wonder, how are they being viewed, right? So now the house guests are wondering, it's going through their mind, it's playing with them, right? It's affecting them. How am I being viewed by Canada? And is Summer a fan favorite because they saved her? Anyway, I watched JC Lynn have a meltdown shortly afterwards. She claimed that she was just having an off day and the game makes people crazy and she's just emotional that day. But we don't believe it, right? We don't believe it because it's as a result of two things, right? First, I really believe she's having that internal regret of not using that secret power veto to get Marty out, right? Now he's the HOH. People sense when they're in danger, I believe. And her using that secret power veto would have been good for her own personal game. And so I think she's thinking about that, and that's bothering her. And let's be real, the fact that Summer did win and is perceived as liked by Canada because Summer won that safety, it does bother her. And again, no need to add me about this. These are facts. The facts. Not only that, we now see a resurgence of flip-flopper Marty. Who will influence him more, Kevin or Gino, this week in terms of who he'll nominate as a replacement nominee? We have Kevin aiming for JC Lynn. Well, let me start over. We have Kevin aiming for a JC Lynn nomination, and we have Gino and JC Lynn aiming for a Kevin nomination. Isn't this sweet? Based on the chain of safety, we know Marty is not putting up Helena. He saved her. And remember, Marty told everyone around the house that he was close to Kevin and Helena. But does that really hold what am I trying to say? Does that mean anything, right, with Marty? Marty flip-flops. We've seen it multiple times. And after that chain of safety, all of a sudden now he's close with Kevin and Helena. That's who he feels close with. So what are the odds of him putting up Kevin or Helena? With any other person, I would say the odds are low. But we're talking about flip-flopper Marty. Right? So we don't know. Anyway, but now JC Lynn and Gino are coming up with a plan to talk with Marty and reveal to him that JC Lynn won that secret power veto. And then just to throw it out there that they had the chance to backdoor Marty, but they didn't. When they could have. And they're hoping that will work and he will be appreciative of that. And in turn, return the favor by putting up Kevin. Now, I applaud their attempt at this. I don't think it's going to work. But again, we're talking about flip-flopper Marty. We'll have to see. JC Lynn should have used that power to put Marty up and get him voted out. It would have been a good move for her own personal game. She could have put it on her resume and Marty would be out of the game, right? They will be dealing with a different person this week. Then we have Kevin and Helena aiming for a JC Lynn nomination. While that would bring me some satisfaction, I don't think that's a good move, right? I think they should backdoor Gino personally. He had the chance at the power veto, right? He was one of the power veto players where Betty won over him. Hey, I have to repeat that. Betty won the power veto and she won over Gino. Right? He was one of the power veto players and she beat him. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is Gino had an opportunity to play in that power veto. So it's kind of a backdoor, but not really because he had a chance to play. So it's not like, he can go around saying, oh, I'm backdoor. I didn't have an opportunity. Yeah, you did. But Betty beat you, Gino. He didn't pull that win. So there shouldn't be any qualms with picking him up because he had that chance to play. Not only that, it's a good look to get out a quote unquote big threat, right? All the men in the game thinks Gino is a big threat in the game. And if Marty does replace Betty with Gino and he goes out, that's 3 votes solidified for Marty, I think. Herman, Moose, and Gino would also respect that move. Unless in the end, Gino's showmance, JC Lynn, is against Marty at the end of the game. And we'll have to see how how Gino would vote, right? Gino claims to be, he plays without emotion in the game. So I wonder if we saw Marty and JC Lynn in the end, who would Gino vote for? Would he respect Marty's move in backdooring Gino? Or would he have his loyalty lie with JC Lynn, his showmance? So we'll have to see. And I'm going to be looking for that because I find it so convenient how the guy, well, I don't want to get into that. Whatever. We'll have to see. But a Gino renom would be a good move. I think so. We saw Helena tell Canada that she thinks she's sharing way too much with Kevin. And I'm like, girl, what? Sharing too much with Kevin? Let's expand that with, we think you share too much with everyone. Period. But that's her gameplay. You know, it worked for her this long, so whatever. We hear Betty on the feeds aiming for a JC Lynn renom. And I don't know, Betty. And the way Josh is making decisions and think he's well placed with the crash test dummies. Remember that? The crash test dummies are Josh, Kevin, and Helena. And Josh thinks he's in with them. And he's so misguided. Anyway, but Betty's aiming for a JC Lynn nomination and I don't think that's a good idea. I think somebody needs to talk Betty out of it. And I'm just saying, when she's telling this to Josh, Josh thinks he's so in with Kevin and Helena. And he even puts Kevin and Helena over Betty, who is supposedly like the ride or die, right? Josh has no loyalty. Ugh. Anyway, I'm hoping that someone will be able to talk Betty out of this, going so hard for JC Lynn and more for Gino. I guess I lean towards Gino because this doggone showmance, it just irks me. It irks my nerves, and the girls get messed over, and I don't like it. So Gino will be my pick. Right? Because technically, both Gino and JC Lynn have shown that they can win comps, right? And they win under pressure. We've seen both of them do that. So they kind of equal in terms of who do you get out. So my vote would be for Gino. All right, I'm going to take about an hour today to catch up on the feeds. I'll try to fast forward until I see conversations happening, and hopefully I'll pick up on other things and see if I can get some insight on what will happen tomorrow with the renoms. All right, so Marty is the new HOH. He nominated Betty and Josh. Betty won the power of veto. And a lot of game talk is happening to determine who should be the replacement nom. Marty can only select Gino, JC Lynn, Kevin, or Helena. Summer was saved by Canada, so she can't be a renom. Betty saved herself, right, with the power of veto. Josh is already up there, so Marty has to pick from one of his side of the house, from his side of the house. And I don't think he'll pick Kevin or Helena. But then again, we're talking about flip-flopper Marty. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. And I suspect we'll get fireworks no matter who is nominated. Maybe. Right? All right. Let me know what you think in a comment. Whether it be Marty winning HOH or Betty winning veto, Summer winning safety from Canada, or who you think the replacement nominee will be. Let me know in a comment. Okay? Please and thank you. And that's all I have. So be sure to come back and give me a listen. I'd love for you to like, share, follow, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. I love to engage with you. Thank you very much. All right. My name is Danielle, and you're listening to my podcast, Chatter Out Loud. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I appreciate your support. And that's all I have. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.